of Spokane, the citizens of Spokane. My last videos, I asked that you pay attention. I asked that because if you don't know what's going on, then it didn't happen. Most of you guys don't know the extent of the law, what that means. Pay attention. What I have on this desk before me is a witness statement that helped to bring me home. I'm not going to say that witness's name, but I will read a piece of it. Wherever you are, who wrote these words, thank you. It took 15 and a half years, but thank you. The part I want to read to you, it's not going to take me long, but I just want to read this to you. Lori Seeley, victim witness advocate. Pay attention. Pay attention. Former police officer Lori Seeley. Pay attention. What you did was wrong. I'd like to talk though. The young man says, I cannot recall the number of interviews after my initial statement. I do not remember meeting the police at the courthouse. No, excuse me. He said, I do remember meeting the police at the courthouse at least once because it was the same day of trial. The same day of trial. The event is clear in my mind because I specifically remember a female who on the day of trial, a person who I thought to be a detective kept pushing, coaching, and coercing us to say, Greg shot at us as well. Now, if you know the law, each interview is supposed to be done individually, with one person talking to either one detective and the victim witness advocate, or if they're underage, they're supposed to have their parents present. This man just said they were talking to us, coaching and coercing us to say, Greg shot at us. We were all in one room. Now that I'm older, I understand it is possible that the female was a prosecutor, but with no question, she represented the interests of the government. As I repeated over and over that Greg Sharkey was not involved in the shooting, this female would coach me to state that there were 2 guns recovered and Greg was shooting. Each time I stated that he was not a shooter, the detective lady would cut me off and reiterate that Greg Sharkey was shooting at us. And that it was him. We were arguing over whether Greg Sharkey was involved. Let me stop right there. You're arguing with the victim with my picture in your hand. This on the day of trial. She kept saying, it's him, it's him. Even when I rejected these conclusions and assertions, because that's not what I saw, heard, touched, smelled, or felt. This person was not at the incident. Pressed on and kept reiterating that Greg was shooting that night. This went on so long, I became certain that it was her intent to persuade us to testify against Greg Sharkey, regardless of what we truthfully remember. While I was fearful that I might get charged with the marijuana that was seized earlier, I ultimately could not change my testimony, because any testimony that Greg Sharkey was shooting the gun that night would be a lie. I am certain that Greg Sharkey's race played a role in this case. Spokane's legal system, the prosecutor, and the police have always treated white people and black people differently. I know this because I am a white male native to Spokane. I grew up here, and I have seen different treatment with my own eyes. The way that Detective Lady badgered us and repeated him over and over in reference to the only black person involved, it was clearly communicated that the police did not care about the truth. They needed Greg Sharkey to be guilty. While the police never used racial slurs when discussing Greg Sharkey, they certainly insinuated his extreme level of danger to us because of his blackness. The police played on our youth, circumstances, and whiteness to elicit our fears, both of the detectives who could charge us for the drugs they found, and of Greg Sharkey as a black man. I genuinely know that if I hadn't had such a clear memory of the events, that the implicit racial biases I had at such a young age could have allowed me to be persuaded of his guilt. I am older now, and I see the situation for what it was. A weaponization of race, a weaponization of racial fear, and racial privilege to put a black man in prison. This incident has haunted me for my entire life. It has affected me in ways that I'm still learning to try to understand. The trauma began with being shot at and my friend Charles being shot and nearly dying. This was very scary for me. There was a lot of blood. I was terrified my friend might die. And I knew it could have been me that was in the hospital. What is worse, I had no idea about the devastating long-term impact of severe trauma that the Spokane Police Department, prosecutor's office, and the courts would inflict on us all. I was raised to believe in these institutions, that they're righteous. But as an adult with much more life experience, I know the truth. These institutions were designed to serve some, but not all, which creates inequality. I'm gonna stop there. Miss Lori Shealy. I would like to talk. Spokane Chief of Police, the mayor, the head of the prosecutor's office. I'm not coming to speak to you guys on nothing aggressive. These are things that you can read for yourself. to the citizens of Spokane. Pay attention. This could happen to your child. Y'all need to start educating y'all child of the laws of the land. All of you. Your life can be forfeit easily. Pay attention. How many of y'all got a brother, a father, a son, a sister, a mother, a daughter that's sitting in them walls? Did y'all ever take the time to pick up the case file and actually read what the fuck it says? I just want to know. Because if you read these laws, you understand that Washington State has RCWs, and they're flexible. And that's how they was able to bend until they gave me 211 fucking years in prison. They say I got PTSD now because of the things I seen. I did it. I seen it. I'm trying to move forward. But they're saying I'm not gonna be okay for a while. And I believe them. Because every time I see a cop car or a police officer, I'm on high alert. Imagine the mental anguish of losing everything. And then them coming home and they say they apologize. The state of Washington gave me $300. $300. And said, go figure out life in society. After you just took my life for 15 and a half years. I want to talk. I can recite my case out of my head, word for word. So the minute y'all ready to sit down and talk, hit me up. Spokane, pay attention.